Our fourth inductee in tonight's Hall of Fame ceremony is Mr. J. Hurley. You heard Dr. Kesselman mention it earlier from the class of 1979. During his time here, Jay earned 12 varsity letters at Stockton. He was the captain of track and field and the cross-country teams. He held 8 school records in track and field: the outdoor 2-mile, 3-mile, 1,500, 5,000, distance medley relay, 2-mile relay, and the indoor mile and the 2 miles. So Jay held 4 course records in cross country. He was a 2-time NJAC All-Conference in the mile in 1977 and 78. He was a 3-time NJAC All-Conference member in cross country. He was an NCAA qualifier in cross country. Those are the things that he did during his time here. I've had the opportunity over the last several years to get to know Jay on a more personal note and to get to know a little bit about not just Jay, the person, but also the Hurley family. Anybody that goes around this area, I challenge you to go to an event that you see one Hurley honored, that you won't see a multitude of Hurleys coming out of the school. When you hear the expression, a family that plays together stays together, I've had the privilege of attending several events around the Atlantic City and Atlantic County area, and Jay is there. And you see events that his brother Harry puts on through his scene, but you always hear Harry mention brother Don all the time, and he's always there with his camera, and he can't speak right now because he's actually filming me speaking. But I've gotten an opportunity, as I said, to spend some time with Jay, and just this past summer, we had an opportunity to go out, as we've tried to do the last couple of years, and just have a meal together and have lunch and sit and talk. And we walked into the restaurant, and the first person we see is his sister-in-law, Margie Hurley. And she wasn't Margie, she just happened to be in the there. And so they really are a family that sticks together, and you can see by the support that he's gotten and the applause that he's gotten that still continues to be the course. Jay has also continued, Dr. Kesselman mentioned he goes 2 or 3 days without running, he gets jittery. He's continued to be involved in running, not just from an individual standpoint. I know that he also officiates. He's a track official, and he comes out, and we've seen him in some of our meets here. He promotes this sport, and he's always encouraging people to try to do better by that. I know what he does professionally, and I've listened to him, and he gives sound advice. Jay has always talked to me about how proud he is of the things that he accomplished while he was here at Stockton. And we've heard the name mentioned several times, and you'll probably hear it mentioned a couple more times. I remember hearing the story about Larry James being in their living room and trying to recruit Jay to come to Stockton.
True story.
I'm not sure who's actually making them. I'm not sure if Jay actually had any input into the decision, but I think that he's really, really proud of the fact that he came here, and I know that we're proud of the fact that he came here, and he continues to have very, very warm memories and speak fondly of Stockton, and I'm proud to welcome him into our Hall of Fame.
All right, Jay. Good. Is it the best? I love it.
You don't stand up when I'm done now? Thank you, Lonnie. And I do enjoy the relationship that we've been having. Also, I'd like to start off by thanking the Hall of Fame Committee, led by John Heck. John, you do a fabulous job. I was enjoying the pictures we took in a cocktail hour. I've never been in front of that screen. When I see them screens, I think of movie stars. And I didn't know how to act. And I turned to Marty. I said, Marty, I've never done this before. Marty says, I do it all the time. It's just great to be back here at Stockton University campus. It's grown so much athletically, academically. Actually, wants me to come back for grad school. There are a few things that have changed. Dr. guessing then you're going to know a few of these. So you too. Over in the Sea Wing, I'm not sure what's quite there now, but I don't see the Stockton pub anymore. That's where we used to get our 50-cent beers. The drinking age was 18 back then, you gotta understand. Also, back in the J Wing, long before Big Blue surfaced, that was the original site of the athletic facilities. We had a co-ed sauna. True story. You got to remember, this was the 70s. A lot of our students and a lot of our professors are not far removed from the 60s.
Very true.
I'd like to thank the 3 people that wrote letters of nomination for me, which was really the beginning process to even be considered. With us tonight, first, Cynthia James. Cynthia is Larry's longtime wife, great Larry James. Also, the vice chairman of the University of Stockton, Leo Schofer. And my high school track coach, longtime athletic director at Atlantic City High School, Frank Campbell. Tonight I share this evening with the love and support of my family. My wife of 33 years, my best friend, the person I can always count on, Mary Jean. A true accomplishment in life, besides putting up with me, has been raising our 2 children. Our 31-year-old son, Tom, named after my father. He looks a lot like Peyton Manning, doesn't he? Tom graduated from the University of Maryland, and nearly a decade ago he moved to New York City. He's never looked back. Today, he's an executive assistant for the CEO of a banking firm on 5th Avenue. Our daughter Katie, she'll turn 28 this Sunday. She's a graduate of Yale University, and then went on to obtain her master's degree at Georgian Court University. She's now a special education teacher in the Northfield school system. Last year we welcomed into our family her husband, Matt Hamlin. Matt's with us here. Matt went to the Temple University, excuse me, and today he protects us all as a detective for the New Jersey State Police. We also have to introduce the rest of my family that are here with us tonight. My sister Karen. My brother Harry, the second fastest one. Marty. And their daughters, Kristen and Lauren. My brother Don. And his wife Debbie. My in-laws, Steve and Clement, over here. And Terry and Louise Elliott. I'd also like to thank all my friends that came here tonight. You were here for a reason. You've been a big part of my life, which I treasure a great deal. My mom and dad have long passed away. However, they do everything to have where I stand here tonight. Their support, as my sisters Brenda and Karen, my brothers Harry and Don will tell you, is unforgettable. Lonnie alluded to this a little bit, but in the early 1970s, when Larry first became the track coach here, my mom started acting as my agent before I even knew what an agent was. She told Coach James everything that she could, letting her know that my young son, in her eyes, was going to be a track star. She advised him it was time to get him on the ground floor before the other colleges started to knock on her door. When Larry wasn't talking to my mother, he at times was with my father. Little secret here, a lot of people might not realize this, but my father was a mechanical estimator and was very involved in the original design of the construction and heating air system here at Stockton. Because back in those days, for old timers remember, that was phase one.
Phase one.
And it was just great times. Larry and Cynthia, because of that, became tremendous families with us, and Cynthia even learned that one of our Hurley family traditions, she learned how to eat crabs. Growing up in my family, we were always surrounded by sports. Sports was just huge in our family. My brothers and sisters were tremendous athletes, basketball, football, you name it. I was actually a pretty bad athlete. Anybody who knew me back then would tell you that. As I approached high school, I was actually running out of sports. The only sport I hadn't tried yet was running, so I figured I'll give that a go. I told that to Larry James once, and he told me the same thing. As I said, so when that happened, needless to say, back in 1971 was the time, that's when my journey had just begun. As a freshman at Atlantic City High School, I had my first coach in cross country, a man named George Dennis, who was an icon at Atlantic City High School.
Yes.
We cross country runners were fortunate. We also have him as Coach Dennis. He at times would tell my friends in the very, very early days that one day they would read about me. That's when I realized that, well, maybe this is my sport. And joining cross country was just the beginning. And then I joined up with track and came under the leadership of Frank Campo. Coach Campo immediately took me under his wing, and for all 4 years, he was not only a mentor, but he became a lifelong friend. Under his guidance, I was able to move on to college and become a student athlete. My mom predicted right. Several colleges did recruitment, but I chose Stockton, and I joined the team led by Larry James. He was the gold and silver medalist that we all knew, and when he was in his prime, the fastest quarter miler on the planet. But with Larry, it was so much more. He was one of great faith. He taught me so much. The education in life that he provided me would go on well beyond my college years and for the rest of our days. My running career now is nearly coming up on a half century. I continue to stay involved in the sport, not just as a runner, but also an official, a race director, and an ambassador for the sport. When I look back over the years, I realize running actually mapped out my life. Make no mistake about it, I would have never attended college. I would have never received the education that gave me the foundation for a 37-year business career and to be able to work for some successful companies like Motorola and Morgan Stanley. I would have never met my wife. That's a story for another day. Running has given me so much in return. My life has been a blessed one, where I can wake up every morning and say, I don't want anything more. Thank you.
Oh, nice.